Hey there! Let me give you a detailed rundown of the second episode of Chillin' in Another World with Level 2 Super Cheat Powers. It's packed with action and some pretty cool moments. So, the episode kicks off with an intense battle between our main guy, Flio, and this wolf-like warrior called Fenrys. Fenrys introduces himself all dramatically as Fenrys the Lupine Warrior, and he's scared of dying before he gets to do anything meaningful. So, he decides to throw every magic spell he's got at Flio. Fenrys starts off confident, using all sorts of fancy spells. He begins with Meteoric Leap, which seems to be some kind of powerful movement spell. Then he tries Earthen Rampart, probably creating a defensive wall of earth. When those don't work, he goes for Whirlwind, conjuring up a powerful tornado. Next, he attempts Nearby Relocation, which looks like a short-range teleport. Finally, he uses Gravitation, which probably messes with gravity somehow. But here's the kicker. Flio manages to nullify every single one of these attacks. It's crazy, right? This shows that Flio not only has incredible magical power, but is also super resistant to magic. Throughout the fight, there's this guide system, probably part of Flio's abilities, that keeps suggesting he use a subjugation spell. This spell can control the target's thoughts and actions, but Flio stubbornly refuses to use it. Flio keeps saying, "I won't use that," and eventually shouts, "I'm not bringing that shit here." This shows that Flio has some strong moral principles and won't use unethical methods even to win. When Fenrys realizes he's out of magic and can't fight anymore, he surrenders. He says, "I surrender. I lack the magic to fight back any longer. There is no path in life for a warrior who cannot fight. Now kill me." This line shows that in Fenrys culture, losing a battle is pretty much equivalent to losing your life. But Flio surprises Fenrys by saying he doesn't want to kill him and doesn't even like fighting. This totally shocks Fenrys. He's like, "What? I am a demon, a warrior of the demons who do battle with you humans. And you say you will let me live?" This dialogue shows that in this world, the war between humans and demons is pretty normal, and showing mercy to an enemy is super unusual. Flio responds, "Honestly, I don't care who's a human or who's a demon. I just don't want to kill someone who's surrendered. That's all." This line shows that Flio has a different perspective on this new world and isn't interested in participating in the existing conflicts. After this conversation, Fenrys transforms back into his human form, which surprises Flio. Fenrys explains that he just undid his beast transformation. This reveals that Fenrys' race, probably werewolves or lupines, can shift between human and animal forms. Flio offers to let Fenrys go if he promises not to fight humans anymore. But before they can talk more, Fenrys passes out from magical exhaustion. Flio's guide system informs him that Fenrys has entered a sleep state due to magic depletion, and it's nothing serious. Flio helps Fenrys and waits for him to wake up. When Fenrys wakes up, he realizes Flio used healing magic on him. This makes Fenrys even more impressed with Flio's kindness. Fenrys says gratefully, "Anyone else would have killed and skinned me." This line shows just how unusual Flio's behavior is in this world. Fenrys formally swears to never fight humans again and accepts Flio as his master. He says, "Because you possess such immense power, I identify you as my master. I will dedicate my life to repaying my debt to you." Flio tries to refuse this, saying it's unnecessary, but Fenrys insists. Fenrys passionately says, "Master, I will carry your things, be your slave, whatever you want. Just, please, let me stay by your side, Master." When Flio still objects, Fenrys sadly says, "If I cannot be with you, all I can do is die." This shows that for Fenrys' race, finding a powerful master and being loyal to them is super important. Next, Flio decides to tell Fenrys the truth. He explains, "The truth is, I'm not from this world. I came from a different world. I was summoned as a hero candidate, but I had no skills at all, and they can't send me back to my own world, so I was tossed out here." Flio shows Fenrys his true form and says, "I changed my form because people from the castle might be after me. I don't know what I should do next, or even where to go. So if you follow me, it's only going to make life rough for you. You'll regret it for sure." But Fenrys doesn't care and says, "I don't mind. We Lupines live solely for the one we recognize as our master. That's our rule. No matter who you are or where you're from, I swear to be loyal to you and live with you for the rest of my life." This shows that Fenrys' loyalty is deep and unshakable. The story then shifts to the castle, where the hero, who isn't Flio, is being scolded for the defeat of his forces against the Dark Army. The hero angrily says, "We sent our forces to strike the Dark Army, and you let them be destroyed?" Then he blames the soldiers, saying, "They panicked and broke formation at the sight of a simple magic beast, and before I knew it, they had already been wiped out. I did everything in my power to save as many of them as I could." This scene shows that the chosen hero isn't really worthy of his title. One of the soldiers secretly reports to the king, "Despite being the hero, he remained at our army's rear. He fled while the rest of us fought for our lives, and he yelled at others while pinning all responsibility on them. Several of our men have begun to express their displeasure with him." After this, the story returns to Flio and Fenrys. They decide to travel as a married couple to avoid suspicion. Flio says, "I think having people think we're a married couple might make it easier to travel together without looking suspicious." Fenrys happily accepts this idea and says, I will be your wife. There is no greater honor for a lupine woman than to have a strong husband." They register at the Adventurers Guild, with Fenrys using the alias Rise. There, they learn that a large group of psycho bears is heading towards the city, and an emergency quest with a high reward has been announced to defeat them. The guild official anxiously says, "A large group of psycho bears has been spotted north of here. They're headed toward the city right now. There is no rank requirement. Adventurers of any rank are eligible. This time only, the reward per bear slain will be multiplied by 10. At first, Flio is hesitant to accept this quest and says, "That sounds pretty profitable, but we probably shouldn't." But Fenrys encourages him, saying, "What are you saying? You could take out an army of psycho bears in no time, darling." Flio is still unsure and says, "No way! Even the hero couldn't handle them. I definitely can't do it." Fenrys, determined to prove how strong Flio is, says, "In that case, I'll go kill them myself. If I win, it'll prove how strong you are as the one who defeated me." Eventually, Flio agrees, and they head towards the forest where the psycho bears were spotted. On the way, they find an empty house that the Adventurers Guild told them they could use. Flio suggests using this house as a base for hunting the psycho bears. When they enter the forest, they encounter a distressing scene. A group of knights is fighting the psycho bears and getting badly beaten. One of the knights shouts, "You can't fight with those injuries! Stand down, Blossom!" Flio, unable to watch this scene, decides to intervene. He uses a simple spell called Lightning Bolt and takes down all the psycho bears with one attack. The knights, shocked by this amazing power, thank Flio respectfully. One of the knights, who seems to be the leader of the group, says, "You are. Sir Flio, looks like you've saved us again. Thank you so much. We thought we were done for." This shows that Flio has saved these knights before, and they know him. Then, an interesting thing happens. Flio and Fenrys manage to tame one of the psycho bears. Fenrys uses her shape-shifting power to transform the bear into a smaller, more manageable creature. Flio says in surprise, "Now we can walk around with it." They decide to name it Saib. The knights, amazed by Flio and Fenrys' powers and skills, make a request. Their leader, who introduces himself as Banaza, says, "Sir Flio, I realize this is a most presumptuous thing to ask of you, but would you please teach us how to fight?" Banaza explains, "As you know, the force led by the hero was wiped out by psycho bears. The hero was absolutely furious. He said he wouldn't lead a force against the Dark One again until he found people he could trust to serve as his right hand and locked himself within the stronghold." He continues, explaining how dire the kingdom's situation is. Banaza says, "So the king then gave us knights an urgent order to dedicate ourselves to combat until we can kill beasts on the Psycho Bear's level. As embarrassing as it is to say, we are still relatively new to the order. The four of us together still aren't enough to kill one Psycho Bear." Flio is initially hesitant and says, "I don't know. I'm not even sure exactly how magic works myself. I can't teach anyone." But Fenrys, now playing the role of Flio's wife, encourages him. "I think it's a good idea, darling. You should show them how to fight by actually fighting them." Flio, still not entirely sure, says, "I'm not such a good guy that I can give more than what I have out of charity. But I'm not too confident that I can teach you well. But if that's all right with you." The knights happily accept and ask him to start right away. In the final scene of this episode, we return to the Dark One's castle. A character named Ulaminas reports to the Dark One, who seems to be the main villain of the story. Regarding the annihilated unit led by Fenrys that was stationed in the Delaveza forest, the purification spell was not cast by mages of the Kingdom of Clyrode. We now know that it was cast by an individual. The Dark One, surprised by this news, orders an individual with magic, powerful enough to instantly eliminate demons. Find this individual and capture them at any cost. This ending shows that Flio's adventure is just beginning, and he'll likely face even bigger challenges in the future. It's going to be exciting to see what happens next.
Missing you for a long